Begin the mission.
What's up, guys? It's Super Robot Punch, and I'm back with another Robot Spirits. So, like the box says, we have the Robot Spirits RGM-79G GM Command Guinea Pig version. Not familiar with the Guinea Pig team all that much. I think it's from a manga. I don't know if I've ever seen it. Obviously I haven't read it, but here's a good look at the box. Pretty standard Robot Spirits. Lots of pictures of the actual suit. Some poses you can put them in on the backside. Yeah, no, super routine, if you will. I hope the figure itself isn't quite as inconspicuous as the box is making him look. Alrighty, let's get him unboxed and see what we have with him. Okie dokie. Again, pretty routine. My box came a little damaged in transit. Not the end of the world. But here he is. Instructions for little things on how to swap out the hands and where to put certain items. Alright, here he is. He looks good. Again, that shield's a totally different color scheme. I think that has to do something with the story that this particular mobile suit comes from. Here we have the beam accessories, beam saber, and that slashing one that we all like to see. And here's the figure himself. Super vibrant red, really crispy white, nice color separation throughout. And let's check out his posability and articulation. So, as per Robot Spirit standard, I think they share an inner frame. He's got a little port back here to where he can hold his... I think his bullpup machine gun can actually slot in there. We'll get into the gimmicks here near the end, but his head turns 360. It's got good up and down, really pretty clear parts for the visor. The green matches it perfectly. He's got butterfly shoulders that you can... It's hard to tell, but you can definitely feel that they're there. It's hard to catch it on camera, honestly. He's got good arm articulation. He's got a joint at the top of his, I guess, wrist that can come in all the way. Really cool. I don't think I've seen that before. His upper arms twist at the bicep. Just really solid. The pauldrons can be adjusted up and down. Let's see. Is this glue? You can see it in the light. He's got an ab crunch. Not too shabby on the ab crunch. Always a little more complicated when they have that torso. That's what he would look like, perfectly flat. The skirt is individually separated at the sides and on the front left and front right. Let's check the legs. Okay, he can kick straight out. The back skirt doesn't move, so coming back, there's no splits for him. He's got center foot and toe articulation, which is crazy. Knee can really sort of bend in. You can get him really sort of just fully knelt down. Looks like he's waiting on a miracle. But yeah, no, articulation's super solid. Again, super similar to the last GMs I reviewed on the channel. I'll try and link it in the description below if you're curious about the classic RGM-79. Okay. Like we said, there's an exposed screw there, but that's not too bad. A better look at that middle foot and toe articulation. And a better look at the wrist. It does look a little weird. But I think that's a good thing in terms of posability and stuff, that one extra little joint there. It's super exposed, but not too shabby. Like I said, no splits for him, even with the side skirts being articulated. 360-degree spin at the waist. Not too bad. Actually, pretty excellent. I'm over here underselling it. I'm not really quite sure why. Yeah, I don't know. He was I wasn't expecting all that much out of a GM command. I figured it'd be super similar to the classic, but that one little swivel at the wrist kind of takes him to the next level. Let's see what we got for accessories. Like we stated previously, here come the beam effect parts. He's got one that looks like he's igniting the beam sword that can double as a shot projectile for one of his rifles. We have a slashing one, and we have two just already ignited beam saber effects. I like using the one with the little, I guess, the orb at the bottom, the bulb, if you will, as like he just ignited the sword. Here are the three straight ones. There's the one with the bulb. And here we have the curved one, sort of like the action swing, if you will. And here we go. Let's get these kind of set to the side. In this totally mismatched shield. The Earth Federation symbol's super pretty on here. I guess it would be a water slide. I'm not really sure how they actually do it for robot spirits, but it's got great detail on it. You can see the portholes at the top and the bottom, and you can stick effects in those little ports. Here's this bullpup machine gun. The magazine does not come out, but the lens on the front of the weapon actually is painted in that really pretty green. That matches the camera that's on top of the GM Command's head itself. Yeah, this sucker's stuck in here. All right, let's check out his laser rifle. UNT Spacey printed on the canister on the back end of the weapon. Really pretty details. Yeah, just super crispy. And there's the little port to stick the effect on the end. The bullpup had it as well. Slight issue with this thing, that canister loves to pop off. You'll see it throughout the whole video. Here we go with his jet effects. They can slot on the bottom of his feet or on his backpack, and you get 3 of them. And like all robot spirits, he comes with like, I think 6 or 8 hands. Crazy amount of hands. The fingers are flexible enough to where you don't really need him. Let's get him into some poses now. Looks like he's doing a double double bicep flex. All right, let's get these shoulders squared away. I watched a posing tip years and years and years ago on how to do Gunpla poses, and one of the big key takeaways was you want those shoulders to either be flared up if he's moving or squared off if he's stagnant or still. All right, let's get him to stand up. Let's get these beam effects on here. Let's zoom us out a smidge. And we'll keep a classic beam for now. They slide just right into there. It's neat because the beam swords fit perfectly on that back skirt that he has. Super accurate to the originals. At least for the redesigned GMs after. Obviously not the classic granddaddy style GMs. But the more, I guess, modern redesigns have them slotted on that back skirt, like the Gym Kai, the Gym Command. I think the Gym Custom might as well. I don't know. He's still in a box somewhere. I got to get him out and get him into the light box and talk about the Gym Custom. That's one of my favorite gyms. Here he is. Looks super cool. The swords are freaking perfectly clear. No cloudiness, no smudging, no seam lines, nothing on the swords. And surprisingly, although the box kind of looks like it went through hell, the beams are perfectly straight. He just looks super cool. It's really hard to make a bad GM. I'm sure somebody out there has tried. But yeah, no, Robot Spirits always knocks it out of the park with GMs. I think I own more Robot Spirits GMs than I do any other type of kit. All right, so for the shield, pops right into this little ball joint here. It's kind of a pain in the ass. It's weird too, because on his forearm, it slots in no problem, right? But the slot is super shallow. I think it's not to kind of ruin the forearm, but it's so shallow that the shield barely sticks onto him. Whoa, shield barely sticks into my hands. Let's get that popped off and get the actual piece to make him hold it. See if that works a little better. Jesus, I cannot get this thing out for the life of me. Use what you got. And there we go. And that slides into the tan hole at the bottom. And like I said previously, his hands are pretty flexible. You'll only really see me change the hands out like 2 or 3 times, because where the plastic in the fingers has a good flex to it, the actual ball joint doesn't. That stuff is so stiff. And it makes me so nervous swapping out hands. Not because I think it'll break, but because I think I'll use too much force and snap it myself. So not a ding on the figure, more a ding on the figure collector. And here we go, moment of truth. He's got the firing hand. Let's try and get it in there. Ay, Jesus. Okay. And there's no audible pop, so you're not missing much. But yeah, no, that's a lot of force. Took a whole mess of force. I don't know if you can tell by my hands, but your boy likes to lift weights. And gosh, that that joint whipped my ass. All right, here he is with the bullpup and the shield. Let's try and get him in as close to the box art as we can, because that's always a good sort of test to see if the figure is, at least for me, worth the price. If I can't duplicate the stuff on the box, what am I doing? And with a little tilt of the shield, I think we got it. Yeah, he looks very good. And like I said, proportions are great, colors are great. I have zero complaints on this figure, except for this stupid little canister on the back of his beam rifle. I think I called it a laser rifle earlier. Yikes. Yeah, this thing is so loose. It slots in and out, no problem. It has, I guess I could glue it if I wanted to. Don't really want to be putting glue on these robot spirits. I don't ever intend to sell them, but I also don't want to ruin them. And this one already had a weird, like, manufacturer defect on his cod piece. All right, let's get him posed up. You seeing what I mean with the shield, where that forearm sort of divot isn't quite deep enough to hold it. So I'm trying to double up to get extra sort of stability on the arm. But that's kind of my one negative for this whole figure is the shield. I got it. That's probably not the shield that he's supposed to come with. But for this specific guinea pig team version of the GM Command, I think they should have came up with a better way to get it on there, or just make that sort of recess just a smidge deeper. All right, let's get these jet effects on. I'm done complaining. Super pretty blue. Just like with everything, the clear effect parts on robot spirits are always just immaculate. And they're only cloudy where they need to be, where there's, you know, like power coming out of it. And they just, like, the translucency is just perfect. And it looks like he's flying into battle. If it was Gundam Battle Operations 2, it would be me flying into a Monster L and getting stun locked on the floor. All right, so for gimmicks, right, kind of unique. His backpack has these sort of claws that slot into either end of the backpack that fit where the carrying handle for each of his weapons is. So for the beam rifle and for the bullpup machine gun, they both are on there. Here we go, using all my tools. And you kind of just slot them into where the carrying handle is. And you stick them on the backpack itself so he can carry them. So in the event that he gets into like a melee conflict with somebody, he just pop, sticks him on the backpack and he gets to swiping and stabbing and slashing. Super cool. I just think he looks a little more, slightly more militaristic with, you know, with his weapon systems on his back. Like he's always ready to engage with them. I think I put these on backwards. Not necessarily the claw, but I put the rifle on the claw backwards. Here we go. Now that makes a little more sense. And in theory, he's supposed to be able to reach behind him and draw his weapon system. And here's the machine gun. Let's adjust this pauldron a little bit. And Bob's your uncle. Boom. Now let's get this sort of squared away here. I'm using the wrong hand here, but like I said, I got a complex about trying to pop the hands off these guys. He looks super dope. Let's get him onto the spinning display. Ye old turntable, spin it. And like in summary, basically, totally worth it. I think my wife snatched this guy off Amazon, I believe. He was a Father's Day gift that she gave me super early. Super great colors. The shield, it does stand out, but I know it has to have some kind of significance to the story as a whole. Great color separation, great gimmicks. Everything slots onto there perfectly. Here's the beam effect on his beam rifle. Super dope. I only have one of him so far. I might get more. He's really vibrant. He's just perfect. And like I said, I got 2 big complaints. The recess on his left forearm and his right forearm are a little too shallow to put the shield on there effectively without combining the handle with it. And that canister on his beam rifle, it just gets super loose. After that first sort of time that you pop it off, it's going to be a nightmare to keep it on there without gluing it. But the articulation's immaculate. His accessories are awesome. Flexibility and posability is obviously super dope. You can get him in all kinds of different positions. Maybe a little too flexible, in terms of, a real robot. But no, yeah, he's super worth it. Super appreciative to my wife for snatching this guy up for me. And another gem to add to the monster gem collection. I don't think I'll ever stop collecting gems. Again, favorite mobile suit has to be the Gem and the Gem family. GM, whatever the heck you guys want to call him. Favorite Gundam, the Mark II. You'll see more Mark II stuff here. Not too far away from when I release this video. And, yeah, no, great figure, totally worth it. If you can get it for MSRP, grab him. If you can get him for a little more than MSRP, grab him. Anything else? Yikes. Last thing, we're going to scale in comparison. Here he is compared to a entry grade 1/144th scale Grandpa Gundam. A little bit shorter. I think if I straighten the legs out, I'd get him a little closer in height. Here he is in comparison with my little driving buddy. I have one of these guys on my dashboard. He's just a regular Gem, super tiny, super cute little SD guy. And the sad boy Gem. I just kind of wanted to show him off. And the Converge GM comes about to his knees without the base, over his knees with the base. And my most recent sort of pickups are these G-frame kits, and he's way bigger than the G-frame, so there's no joint displays with them. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe. Stick around for more. Super Robot Punch is out.